When building a wildlife pond, first remove the topsoil and top vegetation or scrub from the dig area. This can be set aside and used in your vegetable garden or orchard where the rich soil will be useful. On sloping sites, you may need some extra soil to go under the lower embankment, so don't move the topsoil away from the site until the pond is finished and lined. For clay-lined ponds on sloping ground, be sure to remove the topsoil from the perimeter embankments as well as the pond area itself, so that when you build the lower bank, this is made of clean, compacted clay on a clean clay base. Otherwise, water will seep through the grass and topsoil and leak. This is not so critical for plastic-lined ponds. Next, dig out the subsoil to the required depth. For plastic-lined ponds, dig out a large square or rectangular excavation which drops at 90 degrees all around the edges for a depth of about 20 to 30 centimetres below the level of the existing field. Then slope the pond base gently towards the centre to a total of about 45 centimetre depth overall. Dig the pond a bit smaller than needed initially, about 1.5 metres smaller than the dimensions of your liner. It's easier to enlarge it later than to remake the perimeter embankment if you dig it too big the first time around. For rain-fed, plastic-lined ponds on sloping ground, you can spread the subsoil around the lower perimeter of the pond and along the sloping sides. Compact the subsoil well here to minimise settlement later. The finished perimeter should be level all the way around to within 1 to 2 inches. For sloping sites, create a ledge on the deeper sections of the pond so that no single drop is more than 25 centimetres or so. This will help to hold the liner in place later. Check your size by laying your EPDM liner across the pond base and adjust the digging as needed. This helps to make use of all the liner you've bought without making the excavation too large. When checking the liner, be sure to gently tuck it in all around the bottom and the edge of the pond so that you get an accurate sense of how much plastic you're going to need to fully reach the top of the banks all around. Check levels to ensure that the liner base around the pond centre is about 45 centimetres below the upper lip of the liner edge, all around the full outer perimeter of the pond. The next step is to check the base and sides for sharps, stones or irregularities that may damage the liner over time. Lay the non-woven geotextile across the pond base using 10 centimetre overlaps at any joints. Next, lay the impermeable membrane such that it fits the shape comfortably. The liner should be tucked into any corners so it won't sag when soil is added. The top of the liner should be level all the way around. Use a builder's level and long straight edge, or a site level to confirm this. Anywhere where levels are low by more than 1 to 2 centimetres, raise the soil with a small square of sod under the liner as it sits on the edge lip. This will help to hold more water in your pond into the future. If you've ordered geotextile for the top of the liner, for sites with stony soils for example, add this now. Next, replace loose, friable subsoil in low all the way around the pond perimeter. Lay the soil very carefully, starting by adding at the base and then gently adding into the corners all around. This is to avoid pulling the liner itself down into the excavation. Where it's safe to do so, have 1 or 2 people hold the liner in place during soil replacement. Build up the soil so it's level with the liner as it sits on the perimeter lip. Once the soil is replaced at the edges to hold the liner firmly in place, start to replace more subsoil to make the finished pond shape and to achieve a gently sloping edge. A very gentle slope is safer for children and pets and better for wildlife. Don't compact any replaced soil. No soil need be placed at the centre of the pond. Topsoil or pieces of grassy sod may be used around the outer edge of the liner to cover it. Ideally, wait for rain to fill your pond, or use stored rainwater rather than bringing in the chemicals that are in Maine's water supply. Planting brings the risk of importing invasive species, so the best thing to do is to wait for the pond to colonise naturally. Alternatively, buy from somebody who specialises in native Irish-grown pond plants and has a source that's free of non-native invasive species. So that's your pond finished. Sit back, wait for the wildlife to come, and enjoy the view.